Hello. What is that? What are you listening to? Awesome. Glad to hear it. Where is it cold? Where is Peter? There he is. Hello, Chicago.
There he is. Can you hear me, Ken?
Yes, but you need to turn that sound off.
Hello, Chicago.
Wow, you're way delayed.
Yes, but you need to turn the sound off. Turn that off.
All right, we're trying something new here, so give us a minute here. Hey Peter, can you request to be live?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I was talking to the wrong one.
Ah, there you go. All right.
So,
Peter, can you request? Yeah, there's. Let's see. Go live with Peter. Waiting for you.
FutbolMiamiTV, hello.
Yeah, I sent the request for him to join live, and it's waiting for him to say it.
Okay, so I see you talking, but I can't hear you. That's what it is, correct?
Correct, because it's delayed.
So it's going to be tough for me to talk.
No, if you talk through here, it's fine. You just can't hear it on your side, is what I'm saying. We're losing people. Let's see.
Hello, CanesWear family.
That's Brett on the phone, if you guys can hear.
Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
All right.
Let's see.
Here's Peter.
All right. I think it worked that time. There he is.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right. Now you
Doing
can.
great, Peter. How you doing today?
Great, Brett. How are you?
Awesome. Fantastic.
So we're doing this sort of kind of old school because Brett
There you are.
is on the phone.
Nice.
So we couldn't figure out how to get three people on the video. So he's like, all right, well, we'll have Brett on the phone, and then we'll be here talking about whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah, from when I was reading, you can't do a three-way. So,
well, we don't want to do a three-way
do.
anyway, so we're good there.
Awesome.
But anyway, so thank you for joining. We wanted to do something different because last time we were live, all we did was just show products in the store, which we can do.
Of course.
We can always do that. But, we just wanted to bring you on and to introduce you to people who may not know who you are. So let's start there. How about you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Peter Brown, and we have a YouTube channel that focuses on Inter Miami. So it's FutbolMiamiTV on YouTube, and we're partnered with CanesWear, which is an awesome partnership. But we put out 3 to 4 videos a week focusing on soccer in South Florida. So we're talking all levels of soccer, but our main focus is Inter Miami. So talking with the fans, we've got a live show where we're connecting with the fans, and then we've got several edited videos as well that doing news, stadium updates, all kinds of fun stuff. So if you haven't checked us out, please do.
And so YouTube is the best way, right?
YouTube, yeah, we're solely on YouTube, and because you can make nice long shows, have but you never know. Maybe we should do some Instagram stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to, branch out, see what else we can do here, talk about not just the clothing that's behind me, but, the things that are going on in the teams and sports and, try to take our minds away from the other things that are going on currently, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the interesting thing is everybody having to find a way to do whatever they do remotely.
Right.
right? So, everybody having to do everything remotely, including the players for Inter Miami and all of our sports teams, right? So it's kind of interesting to see how everybody's having to navigate this unique situation we all find ourselves in.
Right. And for you and I, it actually works out a little bit better because we can work from home and then we can focus a little bit more on the things that we do for fun.
Yeah, for us, I mean, I was already working from home 2 days a week.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was just a natural progression for my company to just say everybody work from home permanently. But yeah, now I can just slide over to the studio and produce videos for everybody.
Right. So for those that have just joined, we also have Brett via phone. So say hi, Brett.
Hey, team. How we doing? Great to have Peter and Ken live in the Ken's live in the store. Peter's live at the Football Miami TV headquarters. And to bring you something different and talk about some Inter Miami. We're all pumped to get it back going.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it'll be they've played 2 games so far. So if anybody hasn't seen those 2 games, I mean, I think you could probably still find them on ESPN and all that kind of stuff. But
Well, they were actually exciting games.
Yeah, they were really exciting games. I mean, we lost both, but what do you expect from a brand new franchise, right? So each game they looked a little bit better. So that's the positive is just making progress. And so, of course, we were all excited for that first home game, which now may have to wait a little bit. Well, not may. We will have to wait a little bit. But it's really interesting. We're going to end up being in a situation where they're almost having to do preseason all over again because they're taking such a long break that these guys, you're going to need a few weeks of maybe friendly games and also conditioning. And I'm sure that's the same for all sports that are going on. It's taking them out of their element for a period of time. It's, the season was just starting.
Right.
Now, Peter, a question. On that last game, it was a very tough loss. That, the red card coming out, we went from leading to, getting the lead cut in half or basically tied and then losing the game late. Can you explain is that normal for people that don't watch soccer all the time?
Is it? No, I'm sorry, I lost you there for a second.
What are you saying?
The way that game turned out, we had the lead. We scored a goal to take the lead 2-0. They took back that goal on us. They rewarded them a free kick. Is that something normal? Because not that I've watched soccer as much as in the past as I do now.
It happens.
It seemed
but
very strange the way that game turned out.
Yeah, what was unusual about that was that the call was delayed. Normally, if you let
so it's a delayed call.
Yeah. Normally, if you let the play go, that means you're just kind of washing your hands of it. It's going to go on. You're going to move on, or you blow the whistle pretty quick, but he didn't. The play went on. We scored a goal. Then they called it back for a foul that had happened on the other half of the field. That part is a little unusual, but now we're living in this video replay days. Something is fairly new in soccer. Been going on in the NFL for a long time, but it's new for us, and they're still trying to learn to navigate. So he's the head referee's getting some notifications from the booth upstairs that they saw something that he should go back and look at it, and so and there's a debate as to whether it was really a red card. I would say it wasn't a red card. It was probably a yellow card, but even if it's any kind of foul, they're going to have to call the goal back.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the way it went and turned out, this was such strange. It looked like we had defeat or the victory was ours to be good opportunity to take that game, and just the way it turned out, it spoiled it a little bit. But we're 0-2 with a young team, and I think we're going to bounce back really well.
And that's actually one of the exciting things about soccer for those that are new to the sport or aren't really diehards about it, is that some sports, like, you could maybe check out a little bit early and go to your car a little bit early, to beat the rush. You really can't do that in soccer because to the last second, anything can happen. I mean, I remember seeing a game years and years ago where it was Manchester United versus Bayern Munich in the Champions League, and Bayern Munich had the game sealed up in extra time. In extra time, Manchester United stole the game. So in the dying minutes, anything can happen, which is what makes soccer so exciting. You know, you'll hear some people say it's a boring sport or something. That's just people that don't really understand the sport. But, you know, it's just super exciting.
I lost you there for a second, but the last sentence that you said may have cut off.
Oh, I was just saying how exciting the sport can be. You got to stay to the last second.
Absolutely. The funny thing about the game with all the stoppage time that they had, it's so strange in soccer, and it's hard for people who aren't necessarily soccer fans to understand the stoppage time, because there's 45 minutes and then you get an extra 10 minutes for stoppage in that game, which is crazy.
That was a lot.
But then when the half is over, then you start back at 45 minutes again.
Yeah.
So if they score a goal in those 10 minutes, what happens there?
It's a goal?
No, but as far as like scoring wise and everything, how does it show up if you score a goal in the 55th minute?
It'll show 55. It'll say 45 plus 10. So, you know, because that's showing that it was in the extra time.
Oh, okay.
And so, and you know,
those goals still count. That's just missing time, correct? Time that.
Of course, they count.
Yeah.
I was just saying, as far as the stats are concerned, you know, because we were watching that, and you know, we've watched the World Cup games and everything, but I don't think I've ever seen. I don't watch a ton of soccer, but I don't think I've ever seen 10 minutes of bonus time.
10 minutes is unusual. You know, you're used to seeing 2 to 3 minutes, and that's because of players wasting time or injury or stuff like that. But that 10 minutes really, a lot of that came from video review and stuff like that. And because that video review, and that's a topic that some people hate, the video review, and because it's delaying the game so much. But of course, other people think it's good because it's helping the referees get the call right. But there is definitely a delay that was never there before. And it's a matter of the refs learning kind of, you know, how to make it quicker. And as they go, it's going to get better. But I think it's an important part of the game.
No, for sure.
But that's an argument that a lot of people have.
Sequence of events this time that just totally irked the fans that we knew. I mean, we dominated that game from start to finish, except for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and I had nothing to show for it. So it was kind of annoying.
Yeah, but that's the game we love.
Right?
That's soccer.
Exactly. And that's why people love it so much, right?
And you know, it could be 0-0 for 99. You know, for not over 90 minutes, and in that extra time, it's that one magic goal.
Right. Exactly.
You know, that's what you love it and you hate it. I mean, you're watching the game if you're into it. You're watching it on with, you know, biting your nails. You're on pins and needles. You know, that's the kind of passion and excitement that guys are. You know, everybody's watching the game. You know, if you're really into it.
Very true. So the broadcast teams were just announced this past week. Do you have any comments on that?
Well, super excited for two of the names. You know, anybody that's a soccer fan in South Florida knows the name Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson is an icon down here. Even if you're just a semi fan, you know, he's been on the Joe Rose show on what is that, QAM, I think. You know, he's been, you know, he was a rock star here in the 70s with the Fort Lauderdale Strikers.
Totally.
You know, and he was back then was hanging out with all of the Miami Dolphins, getting all the ladies and doing all that kind of crazy stuff in the late 70s, early 80s, and then moved on to being the coach of the Miami Fusion. And if you ever watch BN Sports plays a lot of the, you know, international soccer leagues from Spain and so forth. And his calls of the game are magnificent. Just anybody Google Ray Hudson calls, and you're going to have a laugh. And the guy he just comes up with these words that just don't seem to make any sense. But he puts it together in this, like, I don't want to say eloquent way, because, you know, the funny thing is I know Ray a little bit. The first time I saw him call a game, I would have sworn he was drunk. but he's not. It's just that's his style. And so Ray Hudson is going to be caught as part of the broadcast team. That was a no-brainer. You know, I'm so happy the team did that, because that's also honoring your past, but also acknowledging that just his brilliance of calling a game.
Right.
And then also you got Fernando Fiore, who's another good friend of ours on Football Miami TV, a good fan of South Florida soccer, Miami soccer in general. and he's been on Univision for many years. Currently, he works with Fox a little bit with BN. He's part of the World Cup teams. So, really well beloved. His nickname's El Presidente. And so he's great. And the other two people I'm not as familiar with. I do know that, I think the woman's name was Caitlin. She's a professional soccer player, former professional from Canada. So basically, Inter Miami rated BN Sports. All these people have connections to BN Sports, which is broadcast out of Miami, and they rated them.
Okay. So they got like a dual contract type thing. So
I'm guessing. Because calling Inter Miami games, I don't imagine it's a full-time job, right? Because it's Inter Miami has more nationally broadcasted games than I think anybody. Majority of their games are on ESPN, Fox, Univision, stuff like that. So the games that are not going to be broadcast nationally will be on our local, which the rumor is it's going to be CBS, but the team has not yet announced anything.
Oh, I thought that was official. I saw that on Facebook, and I thought that was an official notice. Is that not?
The team hasn't announced it yet, but it's all over.
Okay.
It's like, one of those worst kept secrets.
Right. Kind of like you keep showing the airline for the sponsor that is probably the sponsor, but until they announce it, it may be somebody completely different.
From what I understand, that's basically negotiating what exactly is going to be the name. What are they paying for? Are they naming the stadium? Are they just naming the shirt? The rumor was it's a $234, I think it is, $1 million deal. So it's a big deal. But then, of course, Inter Miami has to look at that and say, is it worth all the hate they're going to get from people? So right off the bat, many people are coming right out and saying, I'm not going to buy a shirt with Qatar Airways on it. And they're anti-Qatar everything because Qatar has a history of human rights violations. So, but at the same time, if you're Inter Miami, can you say no to $234 million?
Right. Yeah.
Definitely a tough conundrum they've got. Figured this out.
But there's nobody else out there that has that kind of money. I mean, especially now. I mean, does Qatar even have that kind of money, even though, with the massive downturn?
Well, since the deal's not signed, it's curious to see what happens because of this thing we're all going through.
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see if that has any effect. No, there's other companies that have big money, but who knows if they're going to be willing to spend that much. I mean, that would be the biggest jersey kit sponsorship deal in MLS by a mile.
Oh, wow.
So, it would be a multi-year deal. So don't know exactly how many years it's for. So we don't know exactly, what it would equal each year. But I mean, think about it, $234 million, your project that you built in Fort Lauderdale then is paid for.
Right.
More than paid for.
Right.
Before you even play a first game. So it's important to get that deal signed. But, now it's going to be interesting with, the old virus going on.
Yep. Well, so we do have a question from Kota Kendo. How do you think this pandemic will affect our form when the season resumes?
Well, I think it's going to be like preseason all over again. So luckily they've played a couple of games. They have a feel for each other, but I think it's preseason all over. So their form, they're going to have to take a couple of weeks, maybe a month to get back into fitness. I think they're going to have to play some preseason type of games. I think they got to treat it like preseason all over. And our form's going to, but the thing is, everybody's form is going to be questionable. So everybody's on this level playing field. So that's okay.
It's not like when you have a hurricane or a local thing where
right.
Disadvantage, but everybody has the same disadvantage. It's just a matter of, are the players training? Are they talking? Are they looking at videos? Things of that nature to get better.
Yeah, and that we've heard they are. The coach Diego Alonso is saying he's coaching from Skype or Zoom or FaceTime or whatever he's using, and he's touching base with the team every single day. Players talking on tactics and things like that. Things that he's seen players what they can work on and then there's been some videos out there within all of MLS of how the players are exercising at home and they're working with their strength and conditioning coaches remotely. So they're doing what they can, but it's of course it's never the same. You're not there's fit and then there's match fit, and they're two different things.
Right. Absolutely. So, any other questions out there from you guys? Saw a couple comments about the uniforms and things. I don't know if you see anything over on your end.
I did see one that said that our current kits look like training kits without sponsors. I would agree. And I actually like the training kit that I got from CanesWear. This is a better home jersey than the home jersey.
So,
but
yeah, so you can actually see the difference.
Yeah.
I guess I could turn the camera around. You don't need to see me. So this is the one that you have here.
Yep.
And then you can tell that it's practice because it doesn't have any of the herons imprinted.
Right.
Whereas the white one has the imprinted herons. It actually has a different type of patch on it. This one is more shiny, I guess, for the lack of a better term.
So is that the replica that you're looking at? Nope. That's the authentic. I see the buttons. Yep.
Yeah. And then we got that one. She's saying but the away one, I believe, doesn't have a button, right? It's just the home.
Correct. Yeah.
The home jersey. No, it's not. Is it the?
Yes. The home one.
That picks the ones with the buttons.
Yeah, that's the home jersey right there with
right.
with the button on the top, and then the replica one that a lot of people will get just because it's cheaper, but the diehards always want the authentic shirts. The replica is more of a collar like what I'm wearing.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Where's Jeff when you need him? So I have it here. Sorry for the bad camera work here. I'm just gonna turn it around here. Oh no, this is the same. Little confused.
As for on the black one, they both had the same V-neck, the replica and authentic. I think the main difference between replica and authentic is the material is slightly different. The authentic is slightly thicker. It'll withstand your washing machine a little bit better. The patches are actually like more not quite embroidered, but they're patches.
Well, right. So this is
it's more of an applique patch.
Yeah. So this one is the replica one, and you can tell that it's not a shiny patch.
Right.
And then this is the official one, and it's a shinier patch. They both have the Adidas logo. It's just like you said, it's a lighter quality for the replica. You can definitely tell the difference when you see them both side by side. Especially like on the bottom, the cut is completely different. And then it actually, the real jersey has the Freedom to Dream on the collar, and the replica does not.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't notice that before. Yeah. And, there's an interesting story with the blue there because, there's no blue in the Inter Miami logo, but one of the owners of Inter Miami is Marcelo Clore. And Marcelo Clore he owns 33.3%. He's one of the equal partners. And he also owns a team in Bolivia called Bolivar. And that team is blue. And he had told us for years that he will have blue with Inter Miami in some way.
Oh, wow.
Now, we thought it would be in the logo somehow, but he got his blue somewhere. It's just it's in the in the collar. Right. But it was important to him to pay respect to his other club that he owns.
Well, that's very interesting.
Well, that's a little known fact. I did not know that at all, Peter, and I'm sure anybody listening did not know.
Yeah,
so,
Marcelo's.
The price of this video right there. Everyone got their money's worth.
Yeah, Marcelo's been the biggest advocate for MLS in Miami than anybody. He's been working to bring MLS since I think it was 2009, I think is when he came on the scene, 2008, 2009, and he tried to partner with Barcelona to bring, and I was at that press conference. It was pretty cool. Barcelona was there. We were going to do this Miami-Barcelona partnership to bring a team. It wasn't necessarily going to be called Inter Miami. It was going to be whatever it was going to be called, different ownership. Beckham was not involved. And that fell apart in the 2008 or 2009 financial collapse that we all went through. And but Marcelo kept, working behind the scenes. And then eventually he kind of met up with David Beckham, and then he partnered again with David Beckham. So he's been the one. He doesn't get a lot of publicity because he's not the managing partner, but he is the one behind the scenes that kept this project alive when it was near death, and everybody else would have given up.
Wow. See, and that's why we have you here, because you know the 411.
Yeah.
And so what about the difference between when the Fusion started and how we started or the Inter Miami team started?
Well, I mean, the league is in a very different place. That was the second year of the league when Miami Fusion came in, and I was just looking around to see if I have any Fusion stuff around here, but that I was at all those games, and it was a big deal too. They filled the stadium. They filled Lockhart Stadium. It was sold out. It's beautiful.
I was
but
there.
It wasn't. Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. Me too. But it wasn't as much fanfare, I guess, as this we hope will be. And publicity-wise, might be similar. I mean, Inter Miami has a little bit more publicity just due to the fact that they've got Beckham, and they can roll him out on all the late-night talk shows or anything he wants to talk at, they'll listen. So that's our benefit. But as far as like marketing, Inter Miami hasn't done a whole lot of marketing either. So neither team did a ton of marketing. But, there's billboards that are popping up here and there for Inter Miami. But at the end of the day, it's going to have more eyes on this launch. And it has had more eyes on this launch than Miami Fusion ever had. But they were both fun. And, there was just a big drop-off from the first game to the second, the third, the fourth game in attendance. And I think more than anything, I think we were a good soccer market then. We're a good soccer market now. I just think the league is in a different place. The league is much bigger. It's got more eyes on it. It's got bigger name players. They're spending more money. So there's just so much more going on for the league. And each team that launches seems to do better than the previous. So they're learning, and that's good.
That's awesome news.
What was that, Brett?
That's awesome news that these teams does. Watching these games, seeing the fandom, seeing the excitement when we played the Galaxy, the fans were going crazy, and that's a huge market. And to see how great the Atlanta team has done, and I would have never thought that Atlanta would be a big soccer market. It's been phenomenal.
Atlanta has that same bad sports town moniker that we have. The fair weather fans and everything, just like we're called. And they had a soccer team in the NASL, the Atlanta Silverbacks, and nobody came to that. They drew flies. So if you went by that history, you would think there's no way it'll succeed in MLS. And obviously they've proven everybody wrong. With what happened with LAFC, what was really cool too is that there was a large contingency of Inter Miami fans from all three supporters groups, Southern Legion, Vice City, and Siege, all three of them that flew out to LA. And that would not have happened back in the Fusion days. So there were more organized, more passionate soccer fans. But the soccer culture in MLS has gotten so much better than where it was back in the early 2000s.
Well, that's awesome. Yes, I've seen since I've been down here, just down here in South Florida, the Toros way back when, the Strikers, obviously the Fusion, and now I think the most excitement has been here with the Inter Miami. But like I said, seeing how other teams are doing around the country, it's been phenomenal. So I do think soccer is going to take off. I think the colors they pick, the black, the pink, the white, are going to be phenomenal. I just think it's going to be a win-win. Unfortunately, we had the pandemic get in the way. Obviously, the soccer part is a small little detour. The rest of the country and the world, we want to obviously everybody heal up quickly and stay safe, be well, be kind, and once we get back going, I think soccer is going to be huge. People are going to be just so pumped to get sports that it's going to be a lot of people going to want to go to those games. They can't.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Pete, we've been waiting, you know, since the demise of the Fusion. A lot of fans have been waiting that long to go and see soccer. Now, there's been local soccer since the Fusion. We had the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, which I have several scarves behind me from the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. The rebirth of the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, Miami FC. There's been several teams that came back and played, but nothing to the level that we're going to see here with Inter Miami. Nothing to this level. And you know, it's definitely going to be, there's so much pent up. Imagine there was a lot of passion before the virus. Imagine what it's going to be now. I mean, the stadium is just going to be so electric.
Well, so the only issue.
You know, it's funny that I was joking with some people that when they were building that stadium, I know there was a rush, obviously the rush to get done for the home opener. And it's like, you know, the joke is, you know, if we only had 30 more days, 60 more days, we can make this perfect, this stadium.
They got him.
They got it. And I did see that on your podcast. The stadium is looking phenomenal, and it's obviously going to be complete and be an amazing place for people to go to watch the game.
Yeah, now it's just the final small touches, the kind of thing that you don't even see if you drive by. Like, you know, I go to the stadium every week and I do a walk around. And more recently, there's nothing really you can see because it's all the little details that they're wrapping up. When we had the open house that they just before everything got shut down, you know, days before it got shut down, you know, we got to walk around the stadium. I did a video of that, which you mentioned. And when we were there, you could see there were definitely some areas that needed finishing. But now, yeah, they've got the time to do it. And now it's just those final touches, you know, putting logos in places and, you know, making it look nice. And so now it's kind of a skeleton crew there, but they've got the time that they need. Now they're putting some nice Inter Miami wording on the training facility. So it's looking really good. And it's great for, you know, eventually they're going to build their stadium in Miami, and which is just going to make this South Florida's team. Players are going to come to work Monday through Friday in Fort Lauderdale for training. The B team, Fort Lauderdale CF will play there. The academy will play there, and then they'll play their big games in Miami eventually. And so it's a win for both cities.
Peter, how long do you think we'll be playing in Lockhart? 2 years?
Well, they said 2 years, but I'm thinking it's closer to 3 to 4. Because, you know, nothing's easy dealing with Miami politics. So this is still not a done deal. I mean, they're as close to being done as they've ever been, but they still have to get some commissioner approval on things. And you know, it just seems like everybody wants their wallet padded, maybe. I don't know. But it's just never easy in Miami. And it's just amazing how different it was here in Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale just said, oh, you want the land? Pay us $1. You got it for 50 years. They rolled out the red carpet. And Miami's just can't seem to look. Beckham and his group are willing to pay for it. They're willing to build the stadium. They're not asking the city for anything other than sell us this land. And it's a struggle. And so I think you know, the ownership keeps telling us they're close. And but I just, my gut says 3 to 4 years. And I'm okay with that because I live close to Lockhart.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for us in Broward, right?
Right.
Because the delay as long as you want.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
As long as the team wins and there's excitement, as Brett likes to say, then we're all good.
Excitement is everything. You have excitement, you have energy. People will come, people will buy, and everybody will be pumped. Peter, on your podcast, you're calling it a video. You call it a video podcast or a podcast, or what do you call it exactly?
I mean, we call it a show because, I mean, our Sunday show that we do it's basically like a podcast, but in video form. But then, you know, the other videos are not podcasts at all. They're edited videos, right? So, and then tomorrow we're going to be doing another live video. It's not quite, I guess it's more podcast form because it's going to be live. But, you know, when you don't have any new content, it seems that now seems to be the right time to go out and do these kind of things like we're doing now and touching the community a little bit and being able to speak with them a little bit. So tomorrow's video, we're going to do a Mount Rushmore of soccer icons in South Florida, not just Inter Miami, but all of South Florida. So, you know, nothing original. It's something that MLS is doing, something that people have done for years in sports radio, but we're going to do our version.
So yeah, exactly. So it doesn't matter, and if people are following you and you want to get new followers, do what works, right?
Yeah.
Just talk about the things that people want to hear about, and
Yeah.
then maybe introduce them to new people. Like hopefully you're getting followers from here that you didn't even know that you were there.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, and we used to do, me and my co-host Uncle Ed, we used to do a podcast, like a real podcast. It was also live, and where we could take calls and all that kind of stuff. We did that for about 6 years. And at one point, and it's funny is now, once we stopped, it seems like now podcasts are everywhere. The word podcast is cool. Back then, it wasn't as much.
Right.
But we stopped doing it. We got a little bit burned out, and we got re-energized by doing video because we could do a little more creative stuff. So it's some of the same kind of content that we would do on a podcast, but now in video form, we can do more stuff. So it's kind of fun.
Right. Absolutely. So any other questions out there, the people that are watching? So maybe people have just joined.
So every week in the podcast, we have, or in the video podcast, we have we have a special word for people to go ahead and get a discount at CanesWear.com or at InterMiamiWear.com, which is another one of our websites, and also in CanesWear the store. And what is that this week?
It was FMTV.
FMTV,
which is our channel.
Football Miami TV, FMTV.
All right. Awesome.
So it's proving that they watch us. So if they're watching us, FMTV comes. That's a no-brainer.
Right.
Absolutely, and the response has been great. A lot of people came in on the Beckham one. So the response has been great. We've gotten a lot of people from this that have never been to our store, which is great. We've had fans of other college football teams that I've heard them say in the background, "Wow, I cannot believe this place has everything. I never thought I'd be coming to the Canes store." But here at Canes, we're not just about the Canes. We're about Inter Miami, the Dolphins, the Heat, the Marlins, the Panthers. But Inter Miami, we've definitely taken a huge presence in. We want to be the store for people not only in Broward but in Dade to come to. And Peter, we appreciate with your voice out there and letting people know you brought a lot of new people to the store, and we appreciate that very much.
That's great news. Yeah, I mean, when I first walked into the store, I was blown away. It is because the thing is, you go to a lot of these soccer stores and they'll have the jerseys, they'll have the training top, but they don't have the face decals, the pennant, the koozies, the like right there, the baby bibs. I mean, you guys just have everything. So that's what makes it so fun, is because yeah, you can get your jersey, but you could just get everything else. And that's what's really neat too. And sure, you could go and buy this stuff on the MLS soccer website as well, but it's more fun to go be able to support a local store and local businesses. It's really important. And then also when the store opens, to get in touch and feel everything once we get through all this virus issues, and be able to try on your shirts and your hats before you actually lay down some money on that stuff. I mean, the store's awesome. It's great.
We appreciate that.
We appreciate that big time, Peter. We appreciate the partnership. We appreciate everything. It's been awesome. Right? I mean, it seems like we've been doing this for a long time, and we've played 2 games so far. So we're excited about the present, and especially about the future, and what Inter Miami can bring to the store, can bring to the area, can bring to the fans, and what you're doing as well. You're doing a phenomenal job. We really appreciate it.
And I appreciate you guys. It's a great partnership on both ends, so it works out.
Excellent. And there was a question of when the code changes. It changes at 6 p.m. every Sunday. So you have to watch the podcast in order to get the new code.
Right. And so just go to YouTube, Football Miami TV, and you'll see the show. And we'll do it. We're gonna do one tomorrow. But for the new code, you gotta watch Sunday.
And you'll never be able to figure it out because we make it up Sunday morning. So
yeah, exactly.
We talk about it and we just try to stay positive with the code and all that other stuff. So, all right. Anything else?
I guess I have one quick question before you go, Peter. The beginning of the season, there's a lot of games every week. and then it seems like they go to 2 games a week later on in the season. If they had to, if they can't extend the season for too long, they can easily go to 2 games a week. I know they can't do it in the NFL or college football, but in soccer, is that something that can be done on a regular basis?
Yeah, the problem with that is, and the reason why it's backloaded with the 2 games is because the first half of the season, there are other tournaments that some MLS teams are playing in. So there's the Champions League, the CONCACAF Champions League. So we've got 4 teams from, I think it's 4, from MLS that are playing in that tournament. And that tournament takes place on a Wednesday or a Tuesday. So it's midweek games. And so it does crowd the schedule for those teams, but it's definitely doable. They'll definitely have to do that if they plan on playing all 32 games. They're going to have to double up. In reality now, if we're not going to start playing games till May or June or something like that, which is a real possibility, the season probably is going to have to be cut short. They're not saying that, but in reality, it's probably going to have to be reduced to some extent. And then there's also the talk of, if they can start it earlier, if we can get the go-ahead to maybe do some closed-door matches. It's not anything we want as fans, but games are better, on TV are better than no games at all. So that's a possibility. So yeah, they could play midweek games.
All right, well, that's good to know, especially the void now in sports and not much on TV. People would love to see sports, even if there weren't any fans in the stadiums, at least in my opinion. Yeah,
I agree. And, the one cool thing about it, though, is when there are no fans, you realize how much communication is going on the pitch. And, these players yelling at each other, communicating all the code words or whatever that they're saying, to pass the ball, all the movement, all the yelling that's going on. You can hear that because there's no fans. And so because that's still mic'd up. I saw that in, I think it was an Italian game before they shut everything down in Italy. They did play at least one weekend in closed door matches. And so it's kind of fun to actually hear what's happening on the field.
That's actually, I didn't even think about that. Without the crowd noise and without the screaming, you'd hear actually, without even these players being that mic'd up. I mean, that'd be awesome.
There's still mics all around the field, so they can pick up the kicking and they can pick up the sounds of the game. So there's still mics all around the field. You'll hear the coaches yelling at the players. Kind of fun.
All right, maybe for one game, but
Right. But then I want to be in the stadium.
Right. The energy that you get from the fans, you can't match that at all.
Absolutely.
And it's actually it's always going to be a neutral site, right? No matter where you are, no matter where you're playing, because there aren't going to be any fans.
True. Except the only difference is one team has to travel and the other it doesn't.
Right. And we always have the heat. It's always hot here. Yeah.
Yep. Especially as we push this season further and further back. But the interesting thing is, if it gets pushed back too far, now we're talking about playing games in the winter, which benefits us. But what about those teams in Montreal, Vancouver, Minnesota? It's going to be very tough for them playing potentially in snow, which we've seen some of those games, and they're a lot of fun to watch. But I don't know how much fun they are to play.
Yeah, well, but I mean, it's an athlete though, which I'm not. I always remember, you're always bundled up when you get there, but then when you start moving around, you don't feel it. Especially with soccer, you don't feel whatever the coldness is, because you're running, you're sweating, and it's like you're in a refrigerator.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I never played at that level. I never played in the snow, but they are running around in shorts. They're not like football players that are more padded up and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
They are running around in shorts. They've got gloves on, but that's about it.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, any last questions, last thoughts from anybody on the feed? I see Uncle Ed is here. Hello, nice. Uncle Ed. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, everybody, for joining the show. Thank you, Peter. We appreciate your time.
This was fun.
Yeah, we'll hopefully do it again soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
All right. Good night. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.